I'm just going to say this. After John Voight and Dustin Hoffman last week, I was so happy to watch some Gregory Peck. I was like,
Hey,
oh,
don't put John Voight in that. He was a good actor.
yeah,
Don't put him in
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was just a nice. Oh, I know where everything's going to be okay. It's Gregory Peck.
Like,
We're
would he
all
get
gonna,
canceled because
oh,
they would say like, "How dare you pretend?" Like, you should
that's
just
a good
you
point.
should just hire an actual. You know what I mean? Because nowadays, like, people would just be so uptight about it. Like,
And a lot of this for me, honestly, his relationship with Kathy, I was like snoozeville. So much of it, I was
yeah.
like, who cares? Get some more of what this movie's about. And I just
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chicago Cinephiles podcast. I am your co-host, Daniel. Joining me, as always, is the illustrious Stephen and the marvelous James. Fellas, how we doing today?
On
marvelous,
sparkly.
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 I'm
Stephen,
oh my god.
where's your ducks?
You really want to see them?
You
Because we'll
should
get
get like
back.
little Piggly Wiggly like thing, like because you love. I got big on the pig.
I have shirts that say I'm big on the pig. I do.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody wears them down here. Well, welcome
I'm big on
everyone.
the pig, y'all. Piggly Wiggly.
What Steven said. Welcome everybody. This is Chicago Cinephiles podcast, the podcast where we go over previous Oscar winners and we determine if they should have won or not. Today we are diving back into the 40s, which I think is probably all three of our favorite decade or close to it. Today we are
We
actually
love World
going.
War.
Yeah, yeah. Just despite the World War thing,
We
you know,
love World
but
War and
yeah,
Germans.
and genocide, but which is kind of fitting as we're talking about. But today we are diving into the 1947 movie called Gentleman's Agreement. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on in, fellas, shall we? So, Gentleman's Agreement was released November 11th, 1947. I'm gonna tilt my camera down. There we go. Stars in the movie are Gregory Peck as Philip Green, Dorothy McGuire as Kathy Lacey, John Garfield as Dave Goldman, Celeste Holm as Anne Detry, Anne Revere as Miss Green, and then Jane Wyatt as Jane. Budget of about 1.9 million, and it grossed about 7.8 million. It was nominated for seven Oscars, including winning three: Best Picture, Best Director, and then Best Supporting Actress, which was Celeste Holm uh, as Anne Detry. In 2017, it was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation and the U.S. National Film Registry. So those are the basic facts. Now we're going to get to the more exciting part. Stephen, give us the summary of the movie, and then we'll dive right in.
Totally. Gentleman's Agreement follows Philip Green, a widowed journalist who moves to New York and is given an assignment to investigate anti-Semitism. An assignment he accepts by pretending to be Jewish himself. At first, he expects discrimination to be obvious, but he quickly discovers that prejudice is often hidden behind polite language, social exclusion, and seemingly harmless quote-unquote gentlemen's agreements that keep Jewish people out of certain neighborhoods, schools, hotels, and clubs. As Philip experiences this discrimination firsthand, it affects his relationship with his fiancée, Kathy, who genuinely dislikes prejudice, but struggles to confront it when doing so threatens her social standing. His investigation also affects his young son and his Jewish friend Dave, who has spent years dealing with anti-Semitism. The film is ultimately about the difference between believing prejudice is wrong and actually standing up against it, and remains a powerful examination of anti-Semitism and social conformity.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to dive into what was going on in 1947 because it won the 48 Oscars, obviously. But what was going on in 47 that may have determined a little bit quieter than last week. 69 was a crazy year, you know. Brian Adams singing "The Summer of '69." It was a crazy year, But so we don't have anything until March. But in March, Harry Truman announces the Truman Doctrine. In April, Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier in baseball. In May, Goodrich announces development of the tubeless tire, which basically makes cars safer and more efficient, which obviously allows for more road trips, traveling, and that kind of thing. In June, Bugsy Siegel, organized crime leader, is shot dead in Beverly Hills.
See, see.
In July, Truman signed the National Security Act. This is kind of relevant to our movie a few weeks ago, but August, India and Pakistan win independence.
Wonderful.
In August, we get our first Little League World Series champion crowned, much to the dismay of Steven now, PTSD. In September, we have the first World Series of baseball ever recorded on television, which is pretty cool. In October, Truman delivers first ever televised presidential speech.
Wow, 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 wow.
In October, Chuck Yeager breaks the sound barrier, which is it's just crazy to think like that in '47 they were breaking the sound barrier. Like that's
Mhm.
so brave of that guy. In October, Congress investigates the communists in Hollywood, and then in December, A Streetcar Named Desire opens on Broadway.
Wow, wow,
So
wow, wow.
pretty
I
decent
mean,
year.
Streetcar, and Streetcar was directed by who? Ilya Kazan, who directed this movie.
Nice.
Yes, so there you go. There you go.
And if you want more of those, Stephen will happily talk to you about them on
And
the phone.
especially about Streetcar. Oh my God, I love Streetcar. I actually have somewhere in this apartment. I actually have a original program from Streetcar for
Oh,
Men
that's
production,
cool.
47 production.
That's really cool.
Amazing, amazing. Because I'm a homosexual.
Surprised you don't have it framed. Like seriously,
I
like
do, I do, I
oh,
do.
okay, perfect. Okay, I was gonna say that sounds awesome. See,
No,
Stephen, that's what you need to lead with, and not hide those beautiful treasures like the Picard figure. Like
he
that's
always
what
gives me crap because I thought this Picard action figure I bought in
you give
1987.
yourself crap to. Don't even play.
I bought it for like $9 at a Kmart. It was the first series. I've kept it. It's kept like it's like an ice in a bag or something. Never been opened. And we look on eBay one day. It's $9.89 or something like that. It's appreciated for 89 freaking cents in the 185 years. Just makes me angry as hell. I
But
thought, no, this will put my non-existent kids through college. Oh,
your
great!
$1 million toy you had as a kid, whatever, man, kids worth like $400. You're like,
I
what am I
mean,
doing
come
with my
on, give me a break.
life?
What a schmuck. Anyway.
But anyway, so tell me some fun facts about this movie, guys.
You go
Um,
ahead, hit it, James.
okay, so I found this interesting. The role of Philip Green was originally offered to Cary Grant,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but he turned it down because Grant refused the role because he contended he was Jewish and thought he looked Jewish, and he maintained the public won't believe my portrayal of a Gentile trying to pass himself
Mm.
off as a Jewish person, which, I mean, good for him, I guess. But it
The
was
thing that
interesting to see Cary Grant.
the thing that interested me about this is John Garfield, who took a smaller role to play the friend. He was called after this movie. He was called to testify for the U.S. House Un-American Activities Committee, and denied communist affiliation and refused to name names, which put him immediately into red channels and ended his career. He
Wow.
was then called back to testify, and before he could testify, he had a heart attack and died at 39. One of the greatest. I mean, he was in the group theater. He was a precursor of the method, basically.
That
And when
feels a
you
little
see,
suspicious. He had a heart attack magically.
well, I'm sure that it's the stress of having to go because
Fair
if you
enough,
look
yeah.
at the people who didn't name names, they're put in red channels. They don't work. People who do name names, they're called traitors and are shunned by their friends. I mean, there was no way to win. There's no way to win in this. Even years later, Ilya Kazan was given an award. I think in the '90s, he was given an award for all of his work, an Oscar, and people because Ilya Kazan named names. The director of this film named names. So there's a lot of back and forth between them.
Name communists or name Jews?
He named communists because
Gotcha.
he had been
I just want to clarify for the audience in case they didn't know.
yeah, in the group theater. So yeah, just a lot of
Hmm.
people I think paid for making this movie in a few ways. So Anyway,
Mm.
go ahead, James. What's yours? What's your next?
The thing that blew me around is the source material. This was a book, and it was originally published as a serial in Cosmo.
Hmm.
To me, that is like the weirdest thing
Yeah,
that Cosmopolitan and back I had to look this up. I looked it up in 1940s. It was not a hard heading like thing. It was still a lifestyle magazine and all that stuff. So like having this serialized in Cosmos just kind of blew my mind. It was later packaged as a book as it
no,
sold so
isn't that crazy?
Well, my argument that would be is that they maybe do it because they would know that like women maybe could relate because they were just got the right to vote 20 years previously, and usually Cosmo women, right? So maybe that's why they, then they can like nag their husband, using their terms, not like real, not today, but nag their husband into being, like maybe not being the gentleman's agreement. I don't know, but I'm
I
not
think what you all are
surprised.
thinking about is magazines before present day magazines don't really have the cachet that magazines had for decades, and that they would introduce books. They would have like Truman Capote's uh, was going to have this book published that really sort of exposed all of the New York high society, and its first chapter was in Esquire. So there's a lot of books that were sort of introduced to society through introducing their chapters in a magazine.
Okay.
So it may not be such a large stretch, but you're right. When you think of Cosmo today with it, Glamour don't, or something like that, we're not thinking about that. But a lot of like read Frank Sinatra Has a Cold. I think it was also an Esquire. Read that story, and you're like, wow, this is what journalism can be.
Yeah, because
Magazines,
time didn't come out to the 50s, right?
yeah, I believe so. I believe so. I'm not sure.
No, that's a good fact, though. Stephen, any final things before we move on?
The only thing that really stuck out for me is other studio chiefs who were mostly Jewish, let's face it, heard about the making of this film and they asked the producers not to make it. They feared that its theme of
Hmm.
anti Semitism would simply stir up a hornet's nest around the problem, which they preferred to handle quietly. Again, not only did production continue, but a scene was subsequently included that mirrored that confrontation.
Mm.
Just keep things quiet. We'll take care of it on our own. Which I think there are pros and cons to both sides. When I think about the AIDS crisis, and how trying to deal with it quietly didn't quite get the effect that it needed when someone like Larry Kramer came in and just was loud and obnoxious and screaming and yelling, and finally got us entree into certain rooms. But
Mm.
once we got into certain rooms, we didn't want Larry there because he's too much of an ass. You know what I mean? So Larry would get kicked out, which would piss Larry off more, which would lead to more screaming. So I think there's something to be said about both ways of dealing with prejudice, in my mind, in my opinion. But
Awesome.
I'm more of a screamer, so and not just
I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's go
just
ahead and
we're
dive
not touching that.
into the. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Let's go ahead and dive into the movie. What were our initial thoughts on the movie? Did we have any expectations or any ideas? So me and Steven had not seen it, correct?
no, I never seen it.
James had. So
Mhm.
Steven, tell me what your initial, because you love the 40s style. So tell me more. Like, what was your initial thoughts going into it?
I knew a little about this movie because I knew it was about anti-Semitism, and I knew it was sort of an expose about that. And as I said to Daniel, I also knew because the show that came about, I can't think of the guy who puts it together, called Hollywood a few years ago, the series, was trying to be in a fantasy world where gay people were coming out of the closet in the 40s, and was sort of an expose about that. And so there was a film that was released in, like, I think 47 or 46, yeah, 47, and then it was up for the Oscars in 48, and it took the place of Gentleman's Agreement in that fictional world. Which, when I looked up to, I was like, why are you doing this for Gentleman's Agreement, which is actually a movie about an issue, about a prejudice? And to take Gentleman's Agreement out of it seemed wrong to me. I may be wrong about that, but I remember looking that up at the time and going, this is crazy. So I knew enough about this movie to know it was very socially relevant for a fight. And we're dealing with anti-Semitism in droves right now in our society.
Hmm.
So, this is not so, such an antique movie as we think.
Yeah.
What
I
about
had
you
no
guys?
idea what it was, but when I found out Gregory Peck was in it, I was excited. So
Man,
I was going to it very dumb. James, what was your thoughts going into it?
Okay, so this is my third time watching this movie.
no.
The first one I watched it, not gonna lie, thought it was kind of boring because I didn't understand post World War II history too well. And then when I went through a rabbit hole, I was like, and I watched it a second time, I was like, this is a great movie. And then the third time I was like watching with you guys, I'm like, oh goody, you guys get to see and you get to hear me nerd about it.
I will
So
admit though, like it, like I understand what you mean about it being kind of boring because it is a little slow. Like because to me it's your typical 40s movie, has no action obviously, so it's just all dialogue, which is fine. But it's like I totally can understand that, see that side. A couple times I had to kind of like lock back in, so to speak, as the kids say nowadays.
I mean, it takes 30 minutes for me to get the idea to pose as a Jewish person.
Yes, exactly.
Hour 58 film.
Yeah,
So
it feels very like yeah.
we're going to kick into the chase here, folks. And a lot of this for me, honestly, his relationship with Kathy, I was like, snoozeville. So much of it, I was
Yeah.
like, who cares? Get some more of what this movie's about. And I understand that her being sort of that person who is against anti-Semitism, but is playing into it. I get that, but it was much too involved in my opinion. Maybe I just didn't like the way she smiled all the time, and just darling, oh darling, But
So diving into the movie, did you guys realize the level of anti-Semitism that was going on in America at the time?
I would imagine, yes. I mean,
I
yeah.
mean,
I
I
mean,
didn't know the full degree to it because I have watched the. If you guys haven't seen, there's a really good Ken Burns documentary called like I think Holocaust in the Americas or something it was called. It's really good. It does talk a lot about it. I didn't realize that they would even. I guess I knew it was there, but I didn't know they would like be. I thought they would be able to like put because Dave's character really bothered me. He's a soldier, and they still put him being a Jew over that, and that you don't really see that. Like even like today, I feel like if someone's whatever, but they're a soldier, they typically get that respect more for what you know what I mean. So it's just, to me, that was kind of a shocking thing, especially considering like the Nuremberg trials were happening in a couple of years, obviously, but they'd already like the world had already seen the pictures from the Holocaust, so they knew it was a real thing.
what I
It
mean,
was
what
just weird, man.
I agree. I mean, one of the things that they go on and on about that the lead character goes on about in Normal Heart by Larry Kramer is that Jews didn't help other Jews out of Eastern
Yeah.
Europe. I mean, and the people who owned newspapers who could have put the Nazis on
Hmm.
notice did not put these stories on the front page of the New York Times. They were buried in the back of the paper. So,
Yeah.
what causes fear like that? And
Yeah.
I think it's anti-Semitism in this country that they knew they didn't want to rustle the feathers. Which again is understandable, but kind of horse crap in my opinion. But again, we're looking from 2026 eyes into
Yeah.
1946. So
well,
hard.
you know, this movie was actually banned in Spain. They wouldn't
Yeah.
actually show it in Spain because they said they could not. The person in charge of Spanish movies that could get into the country said he could not have a movie released in this country that would put Christians and Jewish people on the same level.
Yeah.
Wow.
Christians
It
are
said,
superior, is what
it,
that said. It was
it said
crazy.
there were theological errors. One of which is that a Christian is not superior to a Jew. Why? Yeah, and that
Oh,
Jews take a matter of pride to be called Jews. Well, yeah, they do. Hello.
They were also under a dictatorship too at the time, so that
yeah, Franco.
so like, yeah, so that played a big part of it too. Yeah, I guess maybe just me being dumb, I just didn't realize it was as prominent. Do you guys think that this movie was released on purpose, just being 2 years after World War II?
I mean, I think well, yeah, this is documented after it was released. Like the book was written like 6 months or a year after the release of after end of World War II. So yeah, it was definitely on purpose. And I think what I think this movie does a good job is showing that because like America is dealing with the repercussions of what happened during World War II and all the atrocities. And then you have the fear of communism
Hmm.
sleeping in like there isn't. And like this movie I think does a good job of showing like othering is bad regardless of what you might believe, like religious or creed and all that stuff. So I think this movie was purposefully, because at that time America was going through a lot of craziness. Um, the Israeli state wouldn't be born for another year, so like that's crazy to think about it. Like all this stuff going on, that even got brought up in the movie about possibly being in Israel. So it's like
Hmm.
it's a very fascinating geopolitical time.
I'll say this, and I don't know if this is the right time to talk about this. The one moment in my life that kept coming up as I watched this movie, I had very similar. When I moved to Chicago, other people I went to college with came with me. So I had these people for a decade. And we started a theater company and we would have play selections. And they always ribbed me because I would only choose plays that were gay plays or plays that dealt with people from who were born in the 70s. Well, I was born in the 70s and I'm gay. So guess what? That's what I'm interested in. But I pitched a play, a gay play, which I thought was a great play, Corpus Christi, which is the Christ story told through 12 gay men and written by Terrence McNally. I think it's a great play. It did not do well in New York, so we were going to be one of the first productions here. After they read it, and these are people I knew so well and were open, we've been to gay bars together, all these straight people, one of them said to me, "Don't you people have enough of those plays?" And it shocked me. Don't you people have enough plays? And it's the minute I went, oh, so it's the first time I went, oh, so liberals who say they like gay people or they're okay with gay people still have something in their gut that really disgusts them. And it really affected me. Because when I left that night, the same person who said that said, "Oh, honey, you know we didn't mean that bad. We love you."
Mm.
And I went, "Yeah, you love me. You don't love what I am, though." That's a big difference. And it
Hmm.
stuck in my craw. And it still is one of those moments that I was shocked because I thought these people really care about me. But there's still something that just disgusts them. And maybe I'm wrong about that. But don't you, anytime you're called you people, you know,
Well, and you can't
don't,
help how you feel. So I mean,
yeah.
now like your feelings are validated,
But
obviously. So
I
100%.
think it's a lot of what, Gregory Philip feels about Kathy is, you're against this, but you still are disgusted by her. Something in you is still bothered by it. So you're not really against it because you don't want your good friends to think that your fiance is a Jew. You know what I mean? There's still
Yeah.
something in there. And it's why a lot of times I'd rather have someone say, "I hate you for being a homo," versus, "Oh, we love you. We just don't want to talk about it."
Yeah.
You know, that there's a big difference. And that's what a lot of liberals have is, "Oh, as long as you don't, as long as you don't talk about it or talk about having sex with another man, or it's fine. As long as you're funny, it's fine. But we don't want to get into your life." It really disgusts me. That's worse prejudice than I think than out
Mm.
saying they hate me. So I just wanted to bring that up because watching this movie, I was like, I kept thinking about that moment. But that's exactly what it is. Anyway, go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you for sharing. Do you guys think that in today's society about cancellations and stuff, would Phil get canceled for pretending to be a Jew? Like, meaning, like, would he get canceled because
Oh,
they would say, like, "How dare you pretend?" Like, you should
that's
just
a good point.
you should just hire an actual, you know what I mean? Because nowadays, like, people would just be so uptight about it. Like, I
How
just
stupid. But
they would
how
say
stupid.
like, "Oh, it's a choice to be Jewish." Like, no, it's experiment. You know what I mean? It's like
You should get
I
a
don't know.
Jewish
Just
writer
want
to
y'all's
write
opinion.
this. You should get a Jewish writer to write it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, we wanted this writer because he's a good writer. And so he'll get into the story how he wants to. I think you're exactly right. I think that the Twitter mob would have lost their minds. How dare
It's
I was a
blue
Jew.
sky, okay?
I was a Jew for 8 weeks. How dare you? How dare you? Can you hear it? I can totally hear it. What do you think,
I
James?
Well, here's what I think about this movie. I'm like, because like how he talks to like his fiance and all that stuff. It's like, by God, this is a politically correct movie to its T. Like, I see no difference from this movie being politically correct as a movie being politically correct now. Like,
Mm,
it's basically like, so like my idea is like it's basically politically correct the same. It's just like almost 80 years ago at this point. Like
mm,
nothing has really changed about being politically correct in society. Now, would I think would it get canceled? Probably a segment, but I also think a segment would be okay with it. It's like you had Robbie Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Do
Yeah,
some
that was.
very
I guess
questionable
if it was
themes.
like 2016, it would have been okay. I feel like during the 2020 era, it would have been, but now I think we're kind of people are sick of the cancel culture. I think now it would be okay. I
I
think it
think
would be
Because
okay.
you know what I think is so funny is that I'm older than you all, obviously, so I understand this.
Combined.
I it just yeah, shut up. I hate you. But what kills me is when I watch things like, well, this was 2020. That's only 6 years ago. It's not like we had this big, knowledge of world. You know what I mean? It just well,
Don't
it
you
was
know the vaccine made you
well,
smarter,
it was
Stephen?
the 1980s. It was the 1990s. It was the 2000s. It was the 2010s. You hear it all the time as if culture did this huge leap forward in 6 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't blame it all on we've had this big knowledge, thing that's happened in our life. No, we've always been a little behind the eight ball. We've always had a little bit of prejudice. We've always had a little bit of homophobia. We've always had a little of this. It's just don't start thinking that we're so superior to people. Well, it was 6 months ago. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? It just kills me. Anything you watch, some kind of a documentary of this or that, they'll do that thing. Well, these were the 2025s. What? What are you saying? Yeah, we know so much more now. What are you talking about? We're still humans, and we're still pretty horrible. We're trying to get better, but we're still pretty horrible. Let's face it. That's just you're right about that. That to me,
I
the Twitterati crowd would lose their 8 weeks a Jew. I have been a Jew for my whole.
well, I do want to point this out. Like, so the main character, his name is eluding me,
Phil.
Gregory Peck,
Yeah,
right?
Philip Green.
Yeah.
Phil.
Like the arrogance of him going into writing this story is like unmatched. Like to me, that arrogant. He didn't even consult any Jewish people that he knew. He wrote one letter to one guy. Like the arrogance of this man going into this story and like basically doing nothing. Like I think is kind of pretty funny, and I
Hmm.
think that like the arrogance of this man, and he is. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say it. The actor was nobody on the studio liked him, so like nobody in
Yeah,
the movie production liked him. Everyone
yeah,
hated him,
Gregory
and he
Peck?
hated everyone.
yeah. They
Yeah.
all had a problem.
Wow.
So like he never worked again with this director. They really hated each other. Like he seems very insufferable because like the arrogance of him doing it and then watching that arrogance being broken down, you know, I think
I
it might
will.
be a path.
I see your point. I would just say this: for a man in 1947 to go around and say this, I mean, and just try to really make this lie be the truth. That's gonna. I don't think just saying I was a Jew for 8 weeks. I think he's still going to be labeled as a problem. He's going to have problems for the rest for this lie. Maybe I'm crazy, but that took a lot of balls.
Yeah.
And he did ask for a lot of facts and figures and this and that. And his boss, says, no, I don't want facts and figures, see? I want the real thing, see? So that actor killed me. All right, see?
I didn't get that. See, I'm the opposite. I don't think it was arrogant at all. I think it was just him saying, like, I'm gonna dive into it head first, and whatever happens,
I'll see
happens.
what happens to me.
Because,
Yeah.
like, I don't, because, like, we run this issue nowadays, and I'm going to be controversial, so we have to bleep this out. We
Yeah,
can.
I can't wait.
But when someone on Capitol Hill, when they tried to find what a woman is, their answer is always, "I'm not qualified. I'm not a doctor." You don't have to be a doctor. So I feel like it's the same thing. Like you don't have to be a Jew to like pretend to be a Jew. You can just say like, "I've seen it. My best friend has experienced it. Let me like put myself in his shoes." That's how I feel. And Stephen, we might discuss this later about some of the things that like, you've compared some of the things that I've experienced in my life to what you experienced in the 80s
Yeah.
about being gay and stuff, which we can talk about later. But yeah,
What's
so
the
I
word?
just
A 2-year-old go, innie, outie. Are we done? We're done.
so yeah, I see your point too, but I disagree. I just think that I actually would prefer someone just to dive right into it. Because then if you do research, maybe he wouldn't do it because he knows the risks are involved. You know
But
what I
it
mean?
also reminds me of this really controversial film that I doubt either of you have seen called Cruisin', made in 1980 with Robert Robert De Niro.
Is it about like gays, like cruising?
It's about this. There's this person who was going through New York and is killing members of the leather and BDSM community in New York, and they're finding all these bodies that are floating up in the East River, and these leather people. So, who is it? Is it not Robert De Niro? It's the other one, whoever it is. But he there's a straight cop.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, and he
I was really okay.
Al Pacino, and he looks like a lot of the people who were the victims. So they put him into the gay world, into the world of leather and S&M, and so he can find the killer. And when that movie was being made, I mean, gay people lost their minds trying to shut it down. They were filming in Manhattan, and they had trouble just filming it because gay people were making such noise and trying to mess up all the shots because they didn't know what it was going to say. And it's very similar. So, posing as some member of a minority community, it's got a sort of a checkered past, I would say, in the movies. And in this one, it works best. But
was Jon Voight not available for that movie?
And I'm just going to say this: after Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman last week, I was so happy to watch some Gregory Peck. I was like,
don't put Jon Voight in that. He was a good actor. Don't put him in that.
Yeah. It was just a nice. I know everything's going to be okay. It's Gregory Peck. We're all going to be fine. We're all going to win.
Well, let's go down the pecking order and keep the script going here. So do you guys think that Kathy's nice person complicity, like how does her polite silence, do you think it could be just, or how could it be just as damaging as active hatred? I think Steven hit it earlier, but I wanted just to kind of like, when you talked about like, we love you, but we don't talk about it, like I think Steven hit the nail on the head there, honestly.
It's a great lyric by Stephen Sondheim. You're so nice. You're not good. You're not bad. You're just nice. I mean, nice. You're just nice. You're just trying to get through this. I think it's it's a very different kind of prejudice. It's a very scary kind of prejudice when you come up on it. That you go, wait a minute. I always used to say with those friends of mine, you don't care if I'm gay. You just don't want me to have a penis. You don't want me to have sex. That's what it is. But as long as I'm the funny,
so they'd love you now. I'm just playing. Yeah. I just play. Steven, you lied, dude. You set yourself up for that one. I'm sorry.
Do you see how it is, there, John? Do you see how it is?
It's elder abuse. I know. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm just thinking my poor editing time.
Check, please. Wellness check.
No, keep that in. So that's what makes it great. Our banter. We are best friends, by the way. Basically, just so y'all know.
Not anymore.
He's my hag, and
I'm going to cut this thing off and send it to you as a present. Is what I'm going to do, so you can have it. My God.
Micro mail. I'll take it.
I don't do miniatures. Send it back.
I'm sorry. Oh God! Sorry guys. Me and Steven's humor just falls off sometimes, and we can't help it. We try to. Can't you tell we talk all the time? We try to not be like this. Just
you guys are like an old married couple.
I felt to me really that's what it was like. It was like if I'm a person who doesn't have sex and I don't have to have a boyfriend, and you're not faced with it, it's okay. Gay is okay. Gay is going to a gay bar. Gay is woo woo woo. Gay is being funny. Gay is show tunes. But when you're confronted with the actual fact of gay is men having sex with men, ugh, gross, disgusting. Even though straight people walk around with that freaking gold band on their fingers all the time, showing who they have sex with constantly in our faces. That's one of the things before.
Yeah, the secretary, not the person with the ring. Obviously, come on.
But before gay marriage, I was like, so you have this thing on your hand that shows that you have somebody that you love and you have sex with and blah 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 blah. But the minute we talk about what we do, ugh, gross. It's just weird for me. So anyway, I'll shut up.
Steven, without homosexuality, what would the street preachers talk about that? You know what I mean? I love every time we'd walk Steven, they would instantly stop talking and be like, "You can't go to heaven if you're a homosexual." Every time he'd walk by. They could be knee deep in other conversations.
I'm not kidding.
They would see Steven's hips start swinging. They would instantly change their tune.
There was a guy who used to be outside of the Old Navy on Michigan Avenue. We called him Old Crazy. He was this old guy with a and he would say, "You can't get to heaven if you're a smoker. You can't." And the minute he would see me, "You can't get to heaven if you're homosexual." I was like, "Really, really?"
Do you have like a neon sign broadcasting?
Yeah. And one time I'm walking.
Yeah, I
by,
mean, Steven does. Look
and the guy walking by beside me went, "Really? That's a new one." I went, "A new one? Where have you been? A new one?"
He doesn't have gay friends, clearly.
Yeah, but he was dressed like it. So, but
believe it or not, I know Steven doesn't believe me, but I really it took me a while to realize that Steven was gay.
It wasn't until his penis was at nose.
It wasn't until he argued with his boss about Ethel Merman that I knew that he was a homosexual.
She was not too old to be a Yentl. She was not. That kind of
Oh, funny.
We've gotten off track.
So I do want to spend most of the time talking about the modern equivalency of it because there's some very interesting things I want to discuss. So where do you guys, and James, I'm gonna leave with you because we've bombarded the conversation, so I apologize. And if you don't have the answer, it's fine, but let me put you on the spot. But where do we see modern equivalents of a gentleman's agreement in today's corporate or social world? If you have an opinion. If you don't, that's fine. I just want to give you first, dibs.
And I guess probably be the transgender community. That would be my guess, and the equivalent. Probably the gay community still, but where you don't want them to ascend. But I don't know. I don't really know this. I don't really know how that would be my impression. But
I think you're right, James, because when I was out of work, my uncle, who's in Tennessee, was talking to this man who hires a lot of people back in Tennessee and said, "What should he do?" And the guy said, and he said, "Well, he's gay." And the guy said, "Well, that doesn't really matter anymore."
Which is a good thing.
But
it's hurting you to get a job right now. It's a good thing that it's not
maybe we could talk about it. So I was like, well, God, I got to become a woman now. My father's going to be so really upset now. I figured this out. Maybe that'll really mess his mind up.
I guess the glass ceiling for gays is out. It's now the transgender
we're not
community.
Even interesting to other gays anymore. I mean, truly, we're not. I mean, we are not. We're considered passé by everybody in the LGBTQ plus one MUSC community. Ridiculous. But you're right. I think there's something to be said about that. I had a story on that.
And Steven, I bet you run into this too. We talk about ageism. That's a gentleman's agreement too. Don't hire them because they're in their 50s.
At the firm you're at and where I used to work, when I started, I was given nothing to do. I mean, nothing. You're in your 20s to 30s, early 30s. We'll give you something to advance. But I would walk around there and go, look at anybody who's in their late 30s, early 40s. They're given menial work to do. They're not given any chance for advancement.
Can I get that, please?
You know what I'm saying?
Can I get the menial work now? Me and James would love it.
But you know what I mean? But it was like, I'd like to show you what I can do. But I was given such tasks that were so nothing. And when I would talk about on our, annual, tell us how we're doing, but it's all anonymous here, right? Bullshit. I would fill it out and I would say it's very ageist, and I would give examples. Then when they let me go during COVID with other 250 people, I had an addendum to my separation agreement, whatever it was, that gave me the titles that were let go, the ages of those people who were let go, and their names. And when I showed it to a lawyer friend, he said, I've never seen an addendum like this. They're scared you're going to sue them for anything. He said, they're scared of that. And I was like, well, I'm not, but they are, But I would say you're right. And I'll tell you, boys, you're in your late 30s, mid 30s right now. Mid 30s. Wait for it. Wait for 40. Wait for 45. Because it hits you in your face and you don't even know it's coming. Wait till someone talks.
Start lying about my age now.
I'm telling you, you should.
Start getting the Botox now so we can look at it.
All right. I'll get rid of some of this gray. I'll
pre-Bratton where you put that black shoe polish on your hair,
I'll debut as I'm 25 at work again.
We got to start hanging out with Lauren more to get her vernacular down pat.
I'm 30. Well, next year I'll be 30.
So back to the just wrap the movie up. Did you guys like the ending of the movie?
For
I
me,
didn't. I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I really wanted him to get with what's her name, Celeste
yeah,
or Anne Detcher. Like I really thought they were going
Yeah,
to kiss in that moment. I like
yeah,
agree with
Stephen, like you said, Catherine, whatever her name is, Kathy. I thought she was the most unforgettable main character woman, like main actress. I was like, who,
who
like this
wants
is
it.
an era of phenomenal performances, and I just thought she was as
And
bland as
the minute you see Celeste Home walking out, oh, let's go have a drink. You want to fall in love with her. I was like,
exactly a hundred
that's the
percent.
girl. And she's funny, and she doesn't want you to be this girl, but she's still going to hang around. She's going to be nice. I was like, that's the girl. That's the one you want throughout it. And then she gives that great speech about what Kathy's like. Yeah, she's not going to be there. She's not you. She's
Hmm.
not going to fight. I hate to tell you the truth, and she knows that's a great performance by Celeste Holmes.
Yeah.
Great,
yeah.
great performance by
I
Dean
wish.
Stockwell too. What did you think?
I wish he go. I wish he got with her. Like, her going, him going back to her.
I
Like,
initially had
I
that
was
like
like,
on the script. I'm like, did you guys like their kiss? Because I thought they were going to kiss, and they
Yeah,
didn't. Because usually I do the script while I'm watching because I like to, keep it fresh. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're not going to kiss. But I also think that she didn't have ulterior motive. I know she liked him, but I appreciate her being honest about who Kathy
yeah,
was because it didn't come off as her just like bad mouthing her. She was
yeah.
just being like a friend, in my opinion.
I wish the movie had ended after Ma reading his little
Mm.
thing, and then her looking at his buddy and going, "Thanks."
Yeah.
Boom. End of
Yeah.
movie.
Good point. Yeah.
End of movie. I don't need him and the music rushing, and they're going to say, "Okay, you're going to be with the crazy bone."
Running up the stairs, knocking on the door, and oh, take. It's like okay.
Very melodrama. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Um. Okay. So now we're going to move on. Did you guys enjoy the movie?
Not the first 30 minutes.
the 30 minutes is slow. I will give you that. It is
Yeah.
slow. I enjoy this movie because like all of the geopolitical like to know about
Yeah.
to really appreciate the movie is
Mhm.
very fascinating to me.
Yeah, I
I would
liked it
say
too.
I'll say this. We got this movie last week, right? I tried to watch it over the weekend. I couldn't get into it. Tried to watch it Monday night. Couldn't get into it. Tried to watch it Tuesday. Couldn't get into it. It took me until this morning to really. And once I got past the 30-minute mark, boom, I flew through it. But every time I'd start watching it, I'd watch like 5 minutes ago. I can't do this. I can't because it was just so slow going. So I liked it after the first 30 minutes.
That's funny. See, I'm the opposite. I actually finished this on Saturday. I was like, I was invested.
Wow.
I watched it. I don't know. It just kind of rolled off the tongue. Like James mentioned, like it was slow, and you did too, Stephen. Like it was slow at the beginning, but I was like, okay, I know because I think also even like oh God, To Kill a Mockingbird, to my opinion, is a little slow too to start off with. And so like I'm kind of used to that with Gregory Peck. I feel like he just kind of takes a little while to build up to him. I don't know why for me, but
Yeah.
once he hits it, man, he hits it. Um, so then lastly, did it deserve to win?
Yeah. Tell us.
1947 was a pretty good year.
Yeah.
So we have Gentleman's Agreement. We have, which I didn't look up the scores, my bad. We have The Bishop's Wife. We have Crossfire. Great Expectations, Miracle on 34th Street. Those were the nominees. Obviously, with it being the 40s, there's other good movies as well. Um, but what did y'all think? Did this deserve to win, or would you guys have picked something different?
I was going to say that one of the movies released this year was The Egg and I. You ever seen The Egg and I? You've seen it, haven't you, James? The Egg and I,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like the precursor to the Mom and Paul Kettle movies. I'm sure you have.
Oh
With
yeah, I have.
Marjorie Main. I love that movie so much because I love any Mom and Paul Kettle. It should win the Oscar, but boy, do I love that movie. I mean, just love it. I would say of the nominated movies, I think it should have won. I love Miracle on 34th Street, but I love this movie after the first 30 minutes. What do you think, James?
I think this movie should have won. I thought it was a well constructed movie. Although I am in my heart out of the past. I also that is such a great movie, and if you ever had time, watch it. But I think this one probably should have won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm torn because I think culturally I appreciate what it did,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. Um, I honestly, and maybe it's just because I like Christmas movies, The Bishop's Wife I actually preferred over this.
Mm,
It's just a
good one.
concept you don't see very often. It's a saint that comes down and like, or not a saint, but an angel comes down, and it's Cary Grant playing the angel, and it's just a role you don't see every, and I know you don't see this very often either. So, but I don't know. I for me, The Bishop's Wife just kind of hit differently. I don't can't really explain it.
And I wonder if there is another year where we have two Christmas movies, two
That is
that are best,
interesting.
best winner, best picture nominations.
I don't think ever. Yeah.
That's
No,
pretty cool.
this is a
And Miracle
balling
on
year for
34th Street
Christmas movies.
obviously is like a classic. Like we have to put that, we would show respect on that
I mean,
one.
the Santa Claus, whenever that came out, I'm sure that was a big one.
That's a good movie too, yeah. Because because to kind of tie it all in, the Miracle on 34th Street, y'all know who the young girl is in the movie.
Natalie Wood.
Well,
James is going to that deep dive.
nice. Oh, poor Natalie Wood.
Speaking of
Yeah,
Why?
kid
Why did
actors, Dean
she was
Stockwell in this movie,
so good,
so
man.
good, so good.
She
Like
cr
he was really emotionally invested.
I
Yeah.
love whatever she's like, whenever the main character is trying to convince, and she's like, Santa's not real. Like she has that look, like, really, bro? Like it's just perfect for a kid actor to be able to hit that. But anyway, so awesome. Well, then my favorite segment is coming up. We have our abomination that Steven hates.
Oh
James,
God.
give us your Duck Award.
Oh God, this is.
Even embrace the
I've
Oscar
had
with
a lot of things up my,
with a duck.
what?
Embrace the gold, Steven.
Yeah, embrace the Blaine with
Never
two
had my
golds that
head
don't
in a duck.
match.
Oh my
Um, so my ducky goes out to the racism being explained and how things have changed. When I think about modern movies. Um, so basically, when he was talking about that I wouldn't want a Jewish doctor, we should keep them out of being Judaism. And
Mhm.
now, like, and like some of the cliche movies, I want a good doctor, I want a Jewish person. Like
Hmm.
to see that completely 180 in the 80s, like I will give that ducky, like pointing that out, because I would never thought that, the
Okay.
stereotype, you know,
The
like it's a
stereotype.
weird
That's
thing how
funny.
things changed.
How funny.
Well,
How funny.
awesome. Awesome. Well, if you made it this far, guys, please do consider liking, subscribing. We really do appreciate it. Now we are going to pull up the wheel and pick next week's movie. So let me go
Wheel
ahead and
of Fun.
share my screen.
Polito
All right,
go.
y'all. Our favorite time is we're going to spin the wheel. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, we're
Yes.
going to spin the wheel for the
I,
first time, and let's see what we get here.
here we go. God.
Come on, no, no whammy, no whammy,
Big
no
bucks,
whammy.
big whammy, no whammies.
Hey.
We are watching Tom Jones, 1963.
Oh wow, weird movie. Weird
Is it
movie.
I have
really?
no idea what this is about.
Yeah, it's
I don't
very,
either. I just know the singer Tom Jones, right? And there's a singer named Tom Jones.
you don't have
Wait,
to.
it's not about the singer?
No,
I
it's
don't think so. It's not because it's from the 60s. Yeah.
no, it's not.
Oh,
We'll see.
Not.
According to IMDb, oh, it looks weird.
It is.
The
Very.
romantic and chivalrous adventures of an adopted bastard, Tom Jones, in 18th century England. You
So
gotta.
it's a comedy. It's a comedy. Yeah. Screwball.
Well, and on that note, I guess next week we were gonna have to watch that movie. So,
Jones. Glitter duck.
I do kind of
Disco
wonder if
duck.
someone ever broke into James's house, like they saw all your ducks and like the random like
Yeah.
operation of the Oscar head of the duck, like they'd probably be like, "What in the
well,
world?"
well, when they enter my house, I have all the ducks. When I leave the house, I stack them all together. So when they walk in, just all the ducks are looking at you when you open the door.
And like if
That's how
one's
I
out of
live my life.
place, you like know someone's been in
Screw
the
it. I'm
room.
Yeah.
out. Screw it. I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm out.
All right, y'all. Well, if you made
Just
it
a
this
couple
far, we
hundred.
do appreciate it. Please do consider liking, subscribing. I think in the fall we're gonna try some different things coming up, so stay tuned for that. But until the interim, this is the Chicago Cinephiles podcast. Signing out.
Bye.